Hi, this is Sarah,
And Jenna.
and we're with Heartly Broken. We help women get through divorce with grace and dignity. Oh, wow, thank you for the hearts already. And I spoke yesterday about celebrating your freedom as a single woman and how it's so important that after. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi.
That after. Hello, Gwendol. I feel like we should sing all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies. Okay. Um, where was I?
The continuation
Oh
of the
yeah.
topic, which is such a good topic, and I told Sarah that I watched her Periscope today, of part one in a hangover. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm really glad that we're continuing this topic today. And Sarah did an awesome job yesterday with her Periscope. I'm
Thank
sure you all
you.
who watched it would agree with me. And yeah, so continuing.
Yeah,
Continuing
so
on.
this is part two because I think it's such an important topic.
It is.
I'm going to kind of recap what I talked about yesterday. Um, Dating yourself is a really, it's fun and it's important.
Yes.
And, oh, it's good to be single at 13. Yes, it is.
I would recommend being single as long as you can while a teenager. I did not do that whenever I was a teenager, and I was always in relationships, and I realized now how unhealthy that was. So
Yeah.
I would recommend just getting to know yourself, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and the stronger you are in that, then the better you will be in a relationship because you'll be able to love yourself, and then you can love someone else and know what you want and don't want. So anyway, yeah.
Um, oh yes, you're married to your kids. Yeah. I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't be at the, emotional place that I am right now, or the even with my business, even the professional place. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for my daughter. She's great, and she's she's better than a professional therapist. But to recap from yesterday, I talked about dating yourself and, take yourself out to the movies, restaurant, park, whatever you like to do. I hear a lot of times, and I know that we've talked about this before, that when you're in a relationship, especially a bad one, a lot of the things that you like to do get pushed by the wayside. And, not only that, but I've heard from many women that their husbands would even like prevent them from doing certain things
Mine
that they
did.
love to do.
Yep.
Yeah, talk
Mine
about
did
that.
for sure. He would use guilt tactics to get me to stay at home and not go anywhere, even with mom's groups and everything. That's where I would be going. And as I was heading out the door, he'd say, you're just selfish and you don't want to spend time with us. So,
Wow.
yeah, so mine did that a lot. And that is something that we actually talked about in one of our past radio shows, is about dating yourself. And I talked a little bit about one day last year, about a year ago,
Yeah.
maybe a little more than that, but I had a date day for myself, an entire day. And so I went to the movies, I went out to eat, I went
Oh,
to
that's so much fun.
a dance recital, a
This
friend's
should be
dance
on
recital. Oh,
Sorry. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you.
That's such a good.
That's a great
Yeah,
compliment.
that is a great compliment. Thank you.
And this is really important things that I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of this, like date yourself. I haven't really
Yeah.
heard that. It's all
Yeah.
about relationships,
Yeah.
but you do have to work on yourself first. So
Yeah.
yeah, the date I had, I went hiking. I went to a movie. I mean, it was an entire day, and it was like the best day I've ever had. It was awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is something I always recommend
Yeah.
to people. So
And not even if your husband or boyfriend for that matter, isn't the kind of guy who doesn't let you do what you want to do. A lot of times when you're in a relationship, you start to forget about what you like,
Yeah.
so that you can. If it's a bad relationship, so that you can, or because you're just so worried about it and so focused on it being a bad relationship that you forget to do things that you like,
yeah.
or you're too worried about making the other person happy.
Yes.
And
you
I
lose yourself.
Yeah, you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this too, that because I know this happened to me, I knew that Oh, thanks, Glendale, for inviting followers. Thank you. I knew that we it was a bad relationship. I knew we had issues. I knew we needed to work on things, but I started to take the stance of, well, if I just make him happy, if I just do, whatever he wants to do, then things will get better.
Yep.
And they didn't.
Yep. Same
And
here. Same.
and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
But it doesn't work. And you do lose yourself in the process, and that should not be how a relationship is, like completely
Yeah.
draining you. It should be
Yeah.
building you up, and you should be helping each other. So, yeah, it's important to find yourself again
Yeah.
after you've, moved on from a relationship, because you're not going
Yeah.
to fully move on unless you know yourself and all of that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I love doing these with Jenna because, yesterday doing them by myself is fun. And yesterday, I thought it went well.
It did.
But when I'm with you, you have different takes on things and different perceptions and different ideas. So it's really good to do these casts with somebody else who's going through these. Thanks for the hearts.
Yay.
Yay, we love hearts. If you're just joining us, we're talking about celebrating your freedom as a single woman, and if you would like to follow us, just swipe your screen to the right, and then there's a little plus sign there. This is my account. Jenna has her own account. What's yours?
We Three Trees. All
Okay.
one word.
Hers is We Three Trees. So if
Yep.
you want to look her up, you can follow her too. And yes, or men. Yes, we are not men haters.
No, not at all.
Not at
Absolutely
all.
Not. Nope.
We just want to focus on women because we're women. So it's easier. So what are some other ways that you kind of celebrated your singlehood when you separated?
Something that I really like to do, and I feel is a good idea, is working on yourself. Even just, it kind of seems maybe a little bit shallow, but like your looks,
Yeah.
accentuate. I don't know how to say this, but just working with what you have, and just waking up, getting dressed, and
Yeah.
feeling good about yourself from
Yeah.
the start of the day is
Yeah.
a really good
Yeah.
tip that I like to give people.
Yeah.
I just feel better about myself if I get up and I put a little makeup on, not a ton, but
Yeah.
and then just get dressed in something that I think I look nice in, and that helps me feel better. So,
Well,
hello.
Hi, hey, we're like, oh, it's Chocolate David. There's also a Chocolate Johnny. So yeah, we're like 3 hours away from you. Come to Vegas, get married today. What I was
We
gonna.
can't. We're both still legally married.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
And I'm not getting married again.
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I don't
That's
think so.
that's another topic.
Yeah, that is another topic. Let's not get off track. Okay, so you were just talking about something, and she was talking about putting on makeup and getting ready in the morning, and I hear from a lot, and I've said this to myself too, when I get up in the morning and I'm just tired, especially when you're going through that depressing period after separation or divorce, and you think to yourself, well, what's the point? I have nobody to look.
Yeah.
I have nobody to look good for.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really the point. You don't have anybody to look good for. That means you have yourself to look good for.
Exactly, yourself. That's what I was gonna say. Look good for yourself.
And I'm starting to think back to oh man, we used to do a radio show on Blog Talk Radio, and one of the episodes that we had was we analyzed Disney movies, and for some reason Blog Talk Radio was having a horrible time that day, and their playbacks were horrible, and it was such a good show, and we need to do it again. We'll do it again on Periscope. Please yell grilled cheese out the window. Okay.
Random.
Whatever. Okay, so, but this talk kind of reminds me of that episode. Okay, thank you. Yes, because I want to comment. I want to comment on everything, but I lose my train of thought really, really quickly. So anyway, but this conversation reminded me about that episode because One of the Disney movies that we talked about was The Little Mermaid. And when we were talking about it, I didn't really, well, as we were talking about it, I realized certain things about the movie that I hadn't before. And one of them was when Ariel was down in her treasure trove and she was singing the song about Part of Your World. She was singing that song because she wanted to be she wanted to be a human for herself. It was a dream that she had. It was something that she wanted to do for herself. And when she saved the prince, then her dream changed from doing it for herself to doing it for a man. And I think that's a really powerful message. I'm sure that Disney really didn't intend for it to be negative, but it kind of is.
It is.
And so that's another reason why focusing on yourself after divorce or separation is just a really, really important thing, because I want to be in another relationship. I'm not dating yet. Jenna is, but I'm not. And I do want to be in another relationship, but I don't want that relationship to be like my past relationship. So, and I think a lot of times, because of society and because our friends, that's deep for thinking, because friends and family, understandably so, want their loved ones who are going through separation or divorce to just get better, to just feel better. I think a lot of times women get pushed into getting into another relationship before they're ready. Yeah. And then it just, the same thing happens again. And so, I cannot stress enough how important it is to take the time for you. And
yeah, I don't want to fully admit this, but yeah, I mean, that's a common thing is, and I actually got that advice from someone to just have a one night stand and you'll feel better. And, no, I don't think that's a good idea. It just, I mean, it might be fun for a minute. It might, but you're potentially setting yourself up for something dangerous in a way, it could be, yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, oops.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
But yeah, I would not. That's not. I'd say have one night stand with yourself. No, not really, yeah. But just go do something fun. Like you could even go out dancing at a club, which I have done, like with friends, and it's fun. But it's also it's good to be outside of a relationship and just seeing how people react with each other. Like go to if you go to a bar or a club and you see people like coming together, it's interesting. It's very interesting to be alone and see that. And it made me be like, oh, I don't want to do that because that looks not appealing. And,
I've become very judgmental of people in bars and certain relationships. When I was still with my husband, I remember one night I went out with a friend of mine, and we went like live karaokeing or something like that, and I lost track of time. You're too pretty to have to settle. I think everyone is too pretty to have to settle. Yes. No one should settle.
Nope.
And
what? Oh my goodness.
The ring. What?
Okay, I will just say that I always notice if a guy has a ring on, and if he does, and he even flirts with me, I will be pissed. like, what is your problem? I think that's, I judge guys in that way, and I think that's so wrong and not cool. Yeah. And if a girl is looking for a guy with a ring on to try to have one night stand with, there's something wrong. Yes. And she's got some problems, and you need to stay away from her. Obviously. That's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
And I forgot what I was saying. Stop distracting me. Yeah, so let's see. What else? You have a hair on your leg. Okay.
Oh, of course.
I was talking about a friend of mine, and something happened, and I forget what it was. I don't know. Laughter is the healer. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. And you know, it's not just about healing. It's not just about being by yourself. Um, I found this quote. I forget I think it was from a book called "You Might Be Breaking Up, but You're Not Breaking Down," or something like
Hmm.
that. And the quote from the book was something along the lines of, "Getting a divorce is not the end of the world. In fact, it's helping. If you don't get a divorce, and you should, it's hurting four people. It's hurting the two people who are in the relationship who probably shouldn't be in the relationship, but it's also hurting the two people that those two people are going to find." And I love that quote. I love it because I think it just encompasses what we're all talking about. Luke, BJ. Yes, I think you were on another scope of mine, or maybe somebody else posted. Uh, he was posting about a guy named Luke. I know his wife, Amy. Her husband does a voice for one of the characters in Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not, I don't think they're from Danville, but they lived here for a while, yeah. Well, he did say they were from DHS. Anyway, but yeah, I think that quote encompasses all of what we're talking about because you need to recognize that you're not in a very good, very healthy relationship. And you need to understand that divorce is not the end of the world. Being single is not the end of the world. In fact, it's the beginning.
It's the beginning. That's exactly what I was going to
Yes.
say. It is the beginning of, and I feel that way for me, that it has been the beginning of me finding myself and being the happiest that I've ever been, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When did you make the conscious decision to start dating again? Or did it just kind of happen?
No, it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I actually had said to a friend, a close friend, I just want to be alone forever. I just, I don't want a guy. I never do. I never want to be, in a relationship again. And he said, I don't think that's true. And I was like, no, it is true. At that moment, it was. And that's when I actually found someone at that point. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't really know when I'm going to start dating again. I don't really have time. If you're, especially, like, going through a divorce or separation is especially hard if you have kids, because then you have to worry about things like visitation and obviously taking care of your child by yourself. What I'm going through right now is the emotional stress of knowing that she is spending time with my soon-to-be ex's girlfriend. That is really, really, really difficult for me to deal with right now. But sometimes you just have to push through, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not really analyzing it. I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just pushing through. And so, but yeah, I don't have any time. I mean, I don't have any time to meet anybody or to look for anybody, and I think that's good because it's a distraction. And I was kind of like you were talking about. I kind of always had a boyfriend in high school, and I was never really alone. And so now it's, I've been alone for 10 months, and there's really no end in sight right now, and that's fine with me. So yeah. So what are some other good reasons for being alone and for celebrating? I kind of want to go back because this isn't just about being alone. It's about celebrating the fact that you're alone. So we're not talking about just, be alone up in your room.
Oh, you're surviving it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you'll survive. And
exactly.
And let's just suffer through it. No, no. It is really good to be alone, actually. I really like it.
Suicidal.
And I would, especially if you're finding yourself in a pattern of being in destructive relationships like this person just said, I would just say, just keep dating yourself, figuring out what you like, and healing, and just maybe make the conscious effort to be like, okay, I'm not going to date anybody for this amount of time, and I'm just going to work on myself for this amount of time, and I think that really helps. It helps.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice, any tips, any ways that you can celebrate? Oh, I have a way. A party. What better
Yeah.
way to celebrate your singlehood than to have a party? Get all of your best friends together and just have a party. I mean, people have parties when they're getting married.
Yeah.
So have a
Yep.
party because you're, my friends took me out for, they called it a Solidarity for Sarah night, and it was awesome. Jenna was there, and we did all my favorite things. We went to karaoke. We went to a hookah lounge. That's not one of my favorite things, but it was okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, just surround yourself with people who support you, and just go do something fun.
Yeah, and I think it's about getting in the right mindset of this isn't something that I'm just going to suffer through, or it's just a temporary thing and I'll, waiting for the next person. It's just like,
Yeah.
be
Oh,
happy
yes.
where you are, just, and work with what you have and,
Yes.
Try new things that you want to try, because that is the awesome thing about being single is there's nobody else to be like, well, I don't want to do that. Or can we
Exactly.
do this instead?
Yes.
Like, no,
Yes.
just go do what you want to do. Like last year I went hiking so much and I realized how much I loved it, and I never had gotten to do it before.
Yes.
So that was one thing.
Yes.
And yeah, and then I tried yoga and I really ended up liking that. And so, that's another thing about, like an everyday thing that I did for a while and I need to get back into it. But, just for 5 minutes, like when I woke up in the morning, it would just help me feel balanced. And,
Yeah.
it's just so finding things like that, little things that will
yeah.
help you and that you like, that nobody
Yeah.
else is going to tell you you can't do that, or
Yeah.
we don't have time, or blah, blah, blah. Like, and I get, coffee every day. I drink coffee every day and I love doing that. And there's nobody to tell me, what are you doing? Or you're
Yeah,
wasting money
exactly.
or whatever. So,
Yeah.
just finding things like that.
One thing that I do is I make my bed every morning. And I know that seems really small and insignificant, but when I was with my husband, he would, I wasn't mad about this, but um, he would always either not make the bed, or one thing was, in the morning, he would always wake up before me, and then I would go to sleep before him. So it just seemed like we were never on the same page, like with our daily routine. And so in the morning, our bed never got made. And, I take responsibility for that too. But the day after I moved out, I started making my bed every single morning.
Yes, she is. She is.
I know, it does. It seems so insignificant, but every day I make my bed, I feel better. I feel so much better. And when I don't make my bed, I feel like something's wrong.
Yeah, it's good to have those little things that you do every day when you wake up. And just, deciding, like, okay, I'm going to put myself in the mindset that I'm okay and today's going to be a good day. That, positive thinking is the best thing that you can do, especially if you're alone and you don't have anybody else to be there with you. So,
yeah. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap it up now. We're working on figuring out how to get our periscopes on YouTube, with the hearts and the comments. So we're working on that, and we'll let you know, and follow us on Twitter. Yes. Every time I make the bed, I think I'm winning.
That's awesome. Whatever you can say,
you're
winning at.
Exactly.
That's important, even if it's something small like that.
Yeah.
Very important.
Just to recap, we're going through a divorce right now, and we help women get through divorce by talking about topics like marriage, love, relationships, health, diet, DIYs, beauty, anything that can help a woman get through divorce during this really stressful time. Thank you for the hearts. And we're working on a YouTube channel right now. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow Jenna on Twitter. What is it again?
We Three Trees.
Okay, so We Three Trees.
Yes.
You can follow us there, and we'll let you know when the next broadcast is, and we'll hope you have a really good rest of your Independence Day weekend, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.